Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina. Today we're going to be working on a card using our Cricuts gel pens, and I wanted to show you how I laid this out on my Gypsy. So I used the Christmas Cricut Solutions cartridge. I've had it for quite some time. I don't think I've ever even used this cartridge, so it was my challenge to myself to go ahead and do this. I use I have a template for my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cards, and I believe I showed you how to do this on another video, and I'll link to that on the screen. But basically what I did was I picked the frame or the sign holder from the Solutions cartridge and sized it so I knew that it would fit in the on the base of my card. So this is actually set at 4 1/2 inches, and then all of my elements I also picked at 4 1/2 inches. But what I wanted to show you is how I used my Cricuts gel pens to color or draw the Christmas tree. So what I did was I used the one of the layers, and I added a second page, and on my second page is where I have my tree, and I have it positioned right where my pen is going to draw the image. So the first page shows where it's going to cut, and the second page shows where it's going to draw the pen. I'll actually turn off the first layer so you can see what that looks like. So see, now you only see the image. I also, on my first page, and I'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see it, put another tree on here, and this is just going to be, I'm going to use this as a stencil, and I'll show you that in a second. So I just really wanted to show you how I did this. So page 1 was all of my elements that I cut using the blade in my Cricut, and then page 2 is just my tree sectioned right where you can, doesn't want to show it. Let's see. There it is. It shows right where I'm going to be drawing that on this part of the layer. So, alright, let's get started putting it. I went ahead and cut out a piece of craft cardstock. This is paper tray ink, and I went ahead and scored it already. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored at 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold on my score line, and I'm just going to set that aside for now because I'm going to go ahead and do all of my images. The first thing I want to show you is this is the layer that I did where I drew with my Cricuts gel pens, and that's what they look like. I didn't use the pastel set. This is just the one I grabbed. And then this is the piece where I cut out a template. So what I'm going to do is just layer that template right over my actual drawn image, and got to go in the wrong direction. So I'm going to just layer it like that, and then I'm going to use Distress ink. This is Forest Moss. And let me see what I did with my inker here. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink up that middle section. So that's why I cut out my template, so I can ink up that middle section. What I like about the Cricuts gel pens is that the colors of the pens don't run. So if some inks, this would, the Distress ink, because it has alcohol in it, would actually make the pen color bleed. So see how I went ahead and just colored that in. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm still using my template, so I can bring that back here. Line that up. I'm going to take my Versamark pad, and I'm just going to dab on my Versamark ink. Set that aside. And then I have my ultra thick embossing powder. Let me just grab my spoon here. I keep my embossing powder in a little Rubbermaid container. Tap off the extra, set that aside, and then I'm just going to go ahead and heat set that with my heat gun. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and add my first layer, and that's going to go right onto the top of here. Just like that. So I'm going to use, let's see, what do I want to use? I'm going to use my Tombow glue, and then my Zig 2-way glue pen for these smaller parts. And go ahead and line that right up on here. Okay. then I'm going to use some foam adhesive, and this is the 3M adhesive, and I'm just going to go ahead and add the strips of this to the back. And then this is just going to get popped right onto the front of here, which is my cute little sign holder. Just like that. And that's going to go on the front of here, but I'm going to put this down on my mat first, or the base of my card. So I'm just going to use my ATG gun to adhere this down. The mat on my card, this mat from the pattern paper is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and the paper I'm using is from the Jovial by Basic Gray. I love the papers and pretty colors and perfect Christmas papers. Okay, so I'm not going to adhere this down yet. I'm just going to set this here because I'm going to go ahead and do a little stamping. So I'm just going to use some Stampin' Up! Chocolate chip ink, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up my Merry Christmas sentiment. Just like that. And I'm using my EK Success ticket punch, and I'm going to go ahead and punch out the Merry Christmas using the middle ticket. I'm just centering that. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Distress ink that I still have in my ink here, or my ink pad, and just ink up the sides of this. Okay, and then that's going to get adhered right to the front of my card, and I just wanted to lay this out. These are just 2 Prima flowers that I used some of the brass or glazed brads from the Jovial collection, and that's going to go right on the top here. I think probably just, I haven't quite decided where I was going to put that. No, I'm going to put it up here. So that's going to get laid right there. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. So you can put Merry Christmas right here. And I will use a glue dot on my flower. And that'll go right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my image onto my front of my card. So I'm just going to use my Zig 2-way glue for this, and that's going to get adhered right to the front of my card. Just like that. Okay, so that's my quick Christmas card for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.